moving, we're shaking. What is this, week 8, week 9? Are you serious? The NFL? I remember when I was talking to my buddy Ed Cole on the phone 2 months ago. We didn't know what the heck was going to go on with the NFL. Well, baby, we're in the middle of the season, and we've got Ed Cole on the phone. Brother, how you doing?
I'm blessed. God is good, sister. You know that.
He is the bomb.com. We are living out our dreams, walking our purpose, and we're talking NFL. Arizona, this guy, you are moving and shaking and moving up, and I love it, and I'm so proud of you. Broadcasting game coverage, pros to prep, covering high school, college, and pro sports, my friend. And, of course, you know, we used to only talk NFC West, but now we're branching it out. But, of course, we'll start there, my friend. You're in Arizona. Let's talk about these Cardinals. Kevin Kolb, former Eagle. We've talked about him a few times on the show. He is in a walking boot, turf toe, but then some are saying that he's got a midfoot sprain. You're in the thick of it. What's going on with Kevin Kolb and what's going on with the Cardinals, bro?
Well, Kevin didn't practice on Wednesday, G. So he moved from a walking boot to an unlaced tennis shoe.
Okay.
And he's dealing, like you said, dealing with the turf toe. He's dealing with that midfoot sprain you mentioned. So he's clearly not 100%, and it's showing on the field. I mean, you know, you go up against the Baltimore Ravens, probably one of the top defenses in the league, and it's hard to do anything against that defense. He gets sacked 6 times. He's on the run the entire game. And, of course, they had the 24-3 lead. And the Ravens came back, their biggest comeback in their team history.
Wow.
And they came back and beat the Cardinals. So the Cardinals are 1-6, lost 6 straight. With the Rams coming in right now, they've got renewed confidence in themselves after they beat the New Orleans Saints at home.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game out here in Glendale on Sunday. So we're going to see if Cobb can go. If not, John Skelton's going to take his place. He was 2-2 last year in 2010. So it's not looking good if Kevin can't go on Sunday.
And you'll be covering the game, yes?
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Now, Beanie Wells, I like him. You know, I'm a fan of running backs. I mean, geez Louise, like, our buddy Jay Wright did his thing in Arizona for a few years. And Beanie, he seems to be injury plagued. What's going on with him? What's his status? And, you know, frankly, should I put him on the roster for my fantasy league? That's the question. What's going on with Beanie?
Against the Rams, I would. I know he's still fighting that knee injury. But it didn't keep him from running 22 times against Baltimore last Sunday. And I would start him against the Rams because their defense is suspect.
Yeah. And
they're not as strong as they were projected to be coming into this 2011 season. But Beanie, Coach Ken Wisenhunt is optimistic that Beanie's going to start on Sunday, and I would think that Beanie would start on Sunday. You know, because they're getting down. They've got 9 more games left, so he's got to get as much playing time as he can, and even with injuries. I mean, this is part of the NFL, Gyasmine. This is part of sports. You play through injuries. As long, if short of his leg being amputated, he's got to be out there playing on Sunday.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. You are absolutely right. Especially, if Skelton comes in, he's most likely he might hand it off a little more because he may not be comfortable, working with the wide receivers. Probably doesn't have that much time. So Beanie's definitely going to get a few rocks, huh?
It's hard to say Larry Fitzgerald and not being throwing to Larry in the same sense. But if you're not used to throwing to Larry in game playing situations, then I guess you would be kind of uncomfortable, especially with their offensive line the way they're struggling right now. Because again, Kevin was sacked 6 times last Sunday, and the Steelers. They got major pressure on him. They forced him into a safety. They forced him into things that he didn't want to do. So their offensive line is not playing well right now. So, like you said, it would behoove Coach Wisenhunt to have Beanie out there to be a safety valve for Skelton if he is, in fact, going to start on Sunday.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely freaking right. Now, we're going to stay NFC West. We're going to talk 49ers. Listen.
Yeah.
6-1, okay? I like their style, and I like their coach. He's a gangster, all right? He's putting a strong arm on his opponents, literally. Before we talk about their season thus far, I really want to get your opinion on the whole, Lions head coach, Coach Schwartz, and the whole handshake. And okay, what do you think about that? I don't think the hit on his back or the handshake was too aggressive. What is your opinion about that?
I disagree. I think it was.
Really?
it's something to to give a firm handshake. But for him to slap Coach Schwartz in the back and kind of push him off to the side, to me it seemed like he was kind of dismissive of Coach Schwartz, like he was disrespecting him in his own house, and that I did not like. I know that there's emotions to the game, and of course after the game, Coach Harbaugh kind of pulled up his top and his shirt, kind of like, okay, well I guess we're done with work. It's just another workmanlike day. Well, I guess I can pull my shirt out. When we come back from a long day of work, we pull our shirt out. We're just like, oh, it's over, it's done. But I don't like the way that Coach Harbaugh did that. But it's the heat of the game. Emotions go high, and it was such a back and forth game. It was a slobber knocker. Those guys were knocking the mess out of each other. We'll keep it G-rated for the family folks here. But it's just all emotions, and they get caught up in this thing. And I'm sure when there's time, Coach Harbaugh and Coach Schwartz will sit down and iron things out. But of course, they're both on to their next games anyway, so they're focusing on on their next opponent. So that thing is way behind them right now.
Yeah, I said, oh man, I want to see what Ed thinks about that. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, I don't know. I like what the 49ers are doing. We're halfway through the season. Your projections, I mean, are they going to make a playoff run? I mean, geez Louise, only one loss. Talk to me, bro. What do you think about the 49ers?
Gyasmine, based on their defense, the running defense they have is phenomenal. I've got the stats in front of me. They're giving up 3.5 yards per rush on the ground, 73 yards on the ground. They've only given up one play over 20 yards as a rushing defense. So from a defensive standpoint, Coach Harbaugh has got these guys locked in and dialed in. He's got Alex Smith. He's got Alex Smith believing that he can guide this team, and this looks like it's finally the year for Alex to get his stuff together. He's got a great running back in Frank Gore. Of course, Frank is running his tail off the last month. And they got the young rookie Alden Smith on defense. He just got the Rookie of the Week honors, I believe. So he's got these guys together, and if they just keep progressing, that defense can carry them all the way, possibly to the Super Bowl. I think they're strong enough that they can make that kind of run in the NFC.
Oh, snap. You heard it, ladies and gents, and all this is recorded, so I may have to play this back for Ed in the event that the 49ers self-destruct. But I hope they don't.
I don't think so. In that division with the Cardinals and the Rams at 1-6, the Seahawks are floundering right now. Man. It looks like they're a Jekyll and Hyde team with their offense, and things don't look good there. With the quarterback situation between Tavares Jackson and Charlie Whitehurst, who's going to be starting, who's not going to be starting. Their running game is suffering. Their offensive line is kind of falling back. They're coming back to earth, so it's not good in Seattle. So San Francisco clearly looks like the best team in the NFC West, and again, with that defense, the old adage says, defense wins championships. That defense is a championship caliber defense.
I love it. I'm really excited to see how they keep everything together. Well, I want to stay West Coast. Let's talk about the Raiders. There's been some really big happenings over the past month or so with the unfortunate passing of Al Davis, and then of course Carson Palmer to the Raiders. Now, there's been some controversy about what the Raiders gave up to get him. I like Carson, Heisman Trophy. He's a USC guy. I'm with him, but he's been chilling. He's been on ice, and he's not 22 anymore. They said he got a first-round pick and then another conditional pick to see how they end up during the season. What is your take on Carson? I mean, he was kind of thrown in the fire a couple weeks back, and they lost badly. But he's had it. They had a bye week last week, and so now they have this opportunity. He's in the playbook. He's probably had some time to work with his wide receivers. TJ, what is your projections for the Raiders for Carson Palmer as we round off the second half of the season?
Well, like you said, now they've got T.J. Houshmandzadeh, a guy that Carson knows and is thrown to in Cincinnati. Carson, of course, is familiar with Coach Jackson. They ran together in Cincinnati as well. So to get the gang all together from Cincinnati, Ohio, out in Oakland, like you said, it was kind of a tough situation for them to throw Carson into that mix against Kansas City after Bowler threw those 3 interceptions. Carson comes in. He only practiced a few times. He was only there a few days before into that action, and he threw those 3 interceptions. So, it's just like your eye or any of our listeners out there that is starting a new job. It takes time for you to gel at your place with your new people. So like you said, give them this bye week, and now they've got the Broncos coming in town on Sunday afternoon. So it's going to be a different situation. I think you'll see a different Carson Palmer clearly than you saw against Kansas City 2 weeks ago.
I love it. Ed Cole on the telly, my brosif, pros to prep, broadcaster, game cover. I mean, writer, I'm loving what God is doing. Arizona putting it down. I am so excited. And of course, all praise. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to talk about one of my favorite teams. And of course, the one thing I love about covering sports, and in particular covering football so heavily, is that the analysts, they are bandwagon. They are so wishy-washy. And I'm trying to stay consistent, and of course in my projections and whatnot. But let's talk Philadelphia Eagles. They lost 4 straight, but they kicked butt and they looked like a well-oiled machine last Sunday against Tony Romo and the Cowboys. Now, talk to me. Are they back in business? What are your thoughts on Vic, for one, and then also on the entire Eagles squad?
Well, Gyasmine, when you have an offense that's number 1 in the league and you're averaging 450 yards of offense a game, you're always going to be in a game. But the situation just in the first couple of weeks of the season, the dream team. I don't know why Vince Young came out and said that. He comes out in his first pass against the Redskins, he throws an interception at D'Angelo Hall. So he kind of just put his foot in his mouth with that.
Nightmare.
But again, it's like the adage with you're in a new place. Now the Asamoah comes over. They've got so many new pieces. They have to get time to come together and gel with each other. And what better team to gel against than the Dallas Cowboys last Sunday night?
Yes.
And they came out and beat it 34-7, and they just made Romo look like an absolute fool. And Rex Ryan's brother, the defensive coordinator, Ryan, came out and made all those words and statements of what they're going to do to the Eagles offense, what they're going to do to the team. And Michael Vick, LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, everybody just came up and just put a massive smackdown on them last Sunday night, and just made the Cowboys look really bad.
It was bad. And you know what? That's the thing about Romo and the Cowboys, is like they show flashes of promise. I mean, when his ribs were cracked or bruised, he came back in the game and threw for almost 300 yards. It's like, oh, Tony, you're right there. And then boom, then they go ahead and lay an egg. But Eagles are my team, so I'm happy.
But then, Gyasmine, then you look in the Lions game they had a couple weeks ago. They had a 27-3 lead against the Lions at home.
Yes.
They put that game.
Yes.
They could have won the Patriots game a couple weeks ago up in Foxborough, but they didn't win that one.
Yeah.
And of course they came up and just got manhandled. They just got violated in this game last Sunday night. That was a manhood issue. If I can use some words from my boy Doc Walker, former Redskin back in the DMV, but they got absolutely violated.
Yeah.
And now they're going to play the Seahawks at home. I would think they'd win that one, but Dallas has got some problems. But Philadelphia is definitely back on the rise. They've got the Bears this coming Monday night. So these 2 straight wins over the Redskins and the Cowboys, and they've got the Bears before they have to go take the Giants on next Monday night. Next Sunday night. I'm sorry about that, but they're coming together. Definitely, that running game is strong with McCoy, and Vic is just as accurate. And if he gets time, if that offensive line can keep him healthy, give him some time to plays, you see what he can do. You know what he can do.
Absolutely. I think he's having, even, last year when he dissected Washington, that Monday Night Football game, and now just the player that he's becoming. When he's healthy, he's phenomenal. And I don't want to talk about another mobile quarterback, bro. Rookie Cam Newton, who I'm very happy that I traded for second week of the season from my fantasy football league. Is this guy the truth? Although the Panthers are 2-6, I am loving what this young man is showing us. And he's only, his first year. What's your thoughts on him this season thus far, and really, the player he can become in the NFL?
Gyasmine, you mentioned 2-6. That equals as many wins as they had last season. Anything above and beyond what they get this year is better than what they did last year. And I think Cam is definitely for real.
Yeah.
This young man, he has got it going on. He's got it all together from an athletic standpoint. He looks great in the media, the way he handles himself in front of the camera, which is a big part of what you have to do in your NFL career and in any career in sports. You have to be able to handle the media as well as everything you need to do on the field. And as far as your prep and everything, watching game film, breaking down all of that, and your off the field activities. We'll get into that a little bit with Peyton Hillis. We'll talk about that with the whole Hollywood, the whole Halloween Boys Club incident. But back to Cam, yes, I absolutely think he's the real deal.
Yeah.
Again, he's got Steve Smith, one of the best wide receivers in the game to ever play that position. If you got Steve Smith to throw to, then you're pretty good. Again, it's just like Vic, if his offensive line can keep him together and just allow him to do what he does best. Allow him to make plays and look down the field and thread those needles and just give him a split second to do what he needs to do.
That's right.
And he is unbelievable. You saw what he did against the Redskins a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, my
Just ran all
goodness.
over.
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And he's just a rookie. Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine if he stays healthy? He's going to be fantastic. And you know what?
I'm trying to get as big as my sister Gyasmine right here. This girl, during game time, she's doing so much stuff. We talked about before the recording, guys. I said, this girl is going to work her way up. She's going to replace Sage Steele. She's going to get Hannah Storm out of there. She's going to be bigger than Susie Colbert. She'll be on the sideline. She'll be hosting her own NFL 32 show by then.
Holding it down. Say, wait a minute. Oh, Susie, you don't feel good, Susie. Oh, okay, get some rest, boo. I'll take over. Boom. That's how you do it. I love it. Ed, I appreciate your support. And let me know. I'm going to be in Arizona. Ladies and gents, we're going to do On the Road with the Female Field Guide beginning of the year. I'll be meeting with Ed Coast. We'll get some videos. It'll be amazing. Once again, bro, thank you so much for coming on the show.
God bless you, sis. Love you, and I cannot wait to see you in January.
Yeah.
Let me know the next you with me on the show. I can come on anytime. You know that. Anytime.
You got it, brother.